Warning, the following content is unscripted and definitely will offend your precious feelings. Viewer discretion is advised. Greetings, one and all, and welcome to Mornings of Mischief. I am your host, Stone Loki. Good morning, everyone. Big good morning to Daryl the Gentleman. Greetings, program. How are you doing, my friend? Showback, TJC. Good morning. The Mad Doctor of Disaster and Destruction, Adega Outlaw, is here. Good morning, Adega. Chris Persia, one of the wrenches of Ragnarok and the greatest wrench of all time. Good morning, Chris. Project Storytime, another wrench of Ragnarok. Thank you for being here, brother. He said he's going to be lurking. Good morning to Mark, the infinitely tired, the Bash brother of the South, and another wrench of Ragnarok. Thank you guys so much for being here and wrenching this morning. Mexican Iron Man, a taco to you, my friend. Good morning. How are you doing? It is good to see you. Ryan Roger Ape, good morning. Gun Bunny, how are you doing, Gun Bunny? It is so good to see you. The lady, Arwen Avalon, is here. Good morning. She says, may the road rise to meet you. May the wind be always at your back. Good morning, Arwen. How are you doing this morning? Trinoculus P, good morning, Trinoculus P. How are you? It is good to see you. Mary's Game Room, good morning, Mary. Dr. Dragon, how are you, Dr. Dragon? Keely Chow, Roll Tide, Keely Roll Tide, Pacific 414 is here. Good morning, Pacific 414. How are you doing, my friend? Good morning, everybody. It is so good to see you all. It's Thursday. The week is winding down. Brian Dawes, good morning. Olds Gamer 72 Cutlass. It is good to see you. Good morning, everybody. The lovely Sherry. Good morning, Sherry. How are you? Keely Chow says, Happy St. Paddy's Day. Happy St. Paddy's Day to you, too. It's time for a bunch of Irishmen to get their drink on. It is absolutely, positively time for us Irish to get our drink on. Happy St. Paddy's Day, everybody. Good morning. So, and we were going to start things off with a little YouTube 101 because I got a message yesterday and I couldn't help but laugh my ass off. I just need to pack up my bags and just stop this whole thing. Pack up my bags, pack up my shit, stop Mornings of Mischief, go off and sulk in a corner. Because I'm done. It's over. I'm washed up. I'm a has-been. I'm old news. And Daryl the derelict. It's a struggle to not go home and start drinking right now. That's kind of the way I felt yesterday. Just pack up my shit and go home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to explain something. Today, today green milk. No, anything but green milk. Anything but green milk. I mean, shit, die anything but milk. Come on, no titty manatee milk. Project Storytime, hashtag cancel Loki. Yes, it's right there in black and white, folks. I'm done. Cancel me, put a fork in me. I'm done. It's funny because if these people that think this shit up spent 1/10 of the time they did on that, on actually trying to promote their own content, work on their own content, they might actually get somewhere. You see, you don't get anywhere by trying to scare off the competition. You might want to do a morning show, but you don't get very far when you're constantly focused on your opponent instead of what you're doing. So my suggestion to you is have fun doing what you're doing, not trying to go after someone else, because that never works. I mean, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get attention and you're trying to get noticed by going after someone else. I guess that doesn't work. It doesn't work. If you want to do this, instead of being a jealous little bitch, if you want to do this, then put your hard work into it. Put your back into it. Dedicate yourself every day to doing something on YouTube. And hell, you build your channel and you work at it and you put the work in and you get where you get. This isn't the way. But good try. Good try. I'm amazed that you spent so much time and put so much work into trying to cancel me. Because I'm just Loki. I'm just a guy who does a morning show. That's it. That's it. So, the greed-eyed monster takes down so many great creators. Greed, have fun. Have fun with what you're doing. Stop worrying about what other people are doing. And worry about what you're doing. I understand, I get it. You look at it and you go, it's not fair. He doesn't deserve this. But whatever. I only worked hard at it. Only busted my ass at it every single morning. So, yeah. All right. Now that that's over and washed my hands of it, Keely Chow, we do not kneel. Hail the Phantom Menace, hail Geeks and Gamers, hail Comicsgate, hail War Campaign, hail Rogue Entertainment, hail United Underground, hail the Fellowship. Damn straight. Keely Chow. Damn straight. Speaking of green monsters, ankle biters too, yes. Takes more energy to be a nosy douche nozzle than it does to mind your own beeswax. This right here, Arwen Avalon. Takes more energy to be a nosy douchebag. Yes, absolutely. Stop wasting your energy. Focus on your own shit. Stop focusing on mine. Work on your own shit. I'm fine. I'm absolutely capital. Dr. Dragon, are they still mad at you because of the whole Kenobi trailer? Man, they have to let it go. It was only just you speaking from your heart, that's all. I was one of the first people to say that the POC was completely out of place and where did this come from? And that's what I said. And then poof, everybody else started saying it. And now I feel very vindicated, Dr. Dragon. Apparently I'm not the only one who saw that and went, yeah, no. Something is rotten in the state of Denmark, and it was Kathleen Kennedy. So yay, we all know now why all of that happened. No, this is apparently someone who is jelly that Loki is where he is and has put the work in and has done his duty for Valhalla, and they haven't. So anyway, let's get on to a new Kirk, a new not Kirk. So I'm gonna share this. This is on Inverse. Paul Wesley is going to play Kirk. Not Captain Kirk, because he's not a captain yet, but Kirk, nonetheless. Risk is his business. Strange New Worlds, the role of James T. Kirk will now be played by Paul Wesley, the veteran actor most famous for The Vampire Diaries. Yes, you read that correctly. The Vampire Diaries will officially appear in some capacity as Kirk in Season 2 of Strange New Worlds. Season 2. Here's why this new Kirk isn't a digitally de-aged William Shatner or regular aged Chris Pine, where this might happen in the timeline, and what it could reveal about Kirk's past. Captain Kink? Yep, Captain Kink. I love that. I love that. Trinoculus P. Captain Kink. That's what we'll call him. Captain Kink. Why was Captain Kink recast in Strange New Worlds? If you're confused, because, I mean, God, you've only had, 2 people play the part before. As to why there's a new person playing James T. Kirk in Strange New Worlds, here are a few things to keep in mind. We don't know that Paul Wesley's Kirk is actually a captain yet. He's not. I'll tell you that right now. It's not Captain Kirk. He's not Captain Kirk yet. He hasn't. Anyway, Strange New Worlds take place in the prime timeline. In the prime timeline. Really? Really? It takes place in the prime timeline? Not in the Kelvin timeline. But wait, you say that Picard takes place in the prime timeline when it doesn't. Season 1 didn't, because Romulus was destroyed and there's that whole storyline from the Kelvin timeline. And Season 2 isn't in the prime timeline. Obviously not. They're not in the same time. So how can it be in the prime timeline? Anyway, which Chris Pine's movies, which is why the actor isn't Pine. So wait a minute. Are you telling me that the Kelvin timeline Chris Pine is the only actor that can be in the Kelvin timeline? So Kelvin timeline Pine is Pine because he's in the Kelvin timeline? Okay. All right. So the reason, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why Kirk looks different in the Kelvin timeline movies, the Klutzman movies, is because it's a different timeline. So even though his parents were the same, and even though they got pregnant at the same time, and even though she carried him to term at exactly the same time, Kirk looks different because it's a different timeline. Even though he was in his mother's womb when the timeline diverged and almost to term. Wow. Wow, this is amazing. I mean, I can't believe this. What do you guys think about that? You tell me what you think about Kirk looking different just because it's a different timeline. He apparently changed the way he looked. Is he going to be Brokeback Mountain Kirk? That is a good question, Arwen, considering how well they did with Pecker Spock. It's going to be Pecker Spock and Bampy Kirk. Bamp Kirk and Pecker Spock. So timelines alter genes, apparently. Apparently he looks different because it's the Kelvin timeline. Different timeline wouldn't alter physicality. An alternate reality, perhaps, but oh well, what does a sci-fi fan know about science fiction? We know nothing. We know absolutely nothing about science fiction. We know absolutely nothing about Star Trek. We know absolutely nothing about this character. And sit room, that is effing stupid even for them. I have to agree. Sit room. I have to agree. This kind of recasting has happened before, very recently. Celia Rose Gooding is playing Uhura in Strange New Worlds, played by Nichelle Nichols in TOS and Zoe Saldana in the Kelvin films. Plus, Ethan Peck and Anson Mount have been playing Captain Pike and Spock, respectively, since 2019 in Discovery Season 2. The thing they said wouldn't happen. The thing they said they wouldn't do. Go back and recast legacy characters. In both cases, though played by Jeffrey Hunter and Leonard Nimoy in TOS, those roles were also recast for the television films too, where Pike was played by Bruce Greenwood and Spock by Zachary Quinto. So Paul Wesley playing Kirk follows the same pattern. It's okay because we've done it before and we didn't. Oh wait, you did screw it up. Pecker Spock is only the person he is because Mikey Spock taught him how to be Spock. Because that's what we want, right? That's what we all want. That's what you want. I want to know why he's far older as a lieutenant than Kirk was as captain. He was the youngest captain in Starfleet at the time. He was the youngest captain in Starfleet. He was the youngest cadet to graduate the academy. And hello, Brandon, Looney Tunes fan 2000. Good morning. It's okay, buddy. Thank you for being here. It's okay. Don't worry about being late. Adega Outlaw. All I see is the futility in the efforts of small minds and imposter wannabe creators attempting to look logical, be accepted, and relevant. The more they stomp their feet, the more their idiocy is revealed. There's only one Kirk for me, and that's William Shatner. You see, they did all this before, and it failed. But they're following the exact same playbook. Why would you do the exact same thing again when it failed the first time? Do you think that this is going to have a different outcome? Or is Paramount just going through the motions until someone purchases it? Paramount used to be a monster of entertainment. How many times did you see that mountain come up and those stars go over the mountain? Paramount Pictures. Now what? What are you? You're going through the motions of exactly the same mistakes you made with the movies. Another important detail here is that Paul Wesley's new Jim Kirk won't appear in Strange New Worlds Season 1. Of course, because he just got cast for Season 2. So they're going over the timeline, where he is in the timeline, which doesn't matter because none of this happens in the original timeline. If you are a TOS fan, this will not affect you at all because this is not Trek. This is Drek with a D. Canon tells us that Kirk takes command of the USS Enterprise in 2265, sometime just before the events of Where No Man Has Gone Before. And from the TOS episode The Menagerie, we also know that Kirk briefly meets Captain Pike at some point in his career when Pike is promoted to fleet captain. So where will Paul Wesley's new Kirk fall into that timeline? New promotional photo from Paramount Plus suggests that Kirk has captain stripes. Wait a minute. You're going to make him a captain, and you're going to have him serve on the Enterprise under Pike, but as a captain. So up here, when you said we don't know that he's a captain, but he's got captain stripes in the picture. Oi. Oh, really? Star Trek is happy. Hey, guys. Hey, I want to tell you something. I want to pass along a message. Star Trek is happy. In the first trailer for Strange New Worlds, Captain Christopher Pike looks sad for about 5 seconds. And then the upbeat optimism goes to warp 10, y'all. It goes to warp 10. While the new trailer is very short, the message of Strange New Worlds is very clear. This incarnation of Star Trek will not be dark and gritty. Watch the new teaser and read our breakdown of how the show's refreshing tone and what to expect when the series premieres this spring. Hey, y'all, it's not dark and depressing anymore. It's upbeat and optimistic. And you've got Kirk in season 2, and Pecker Spock is coming back. This just gets better and better and better. Don't you just want to rush out and watch Star Trek now? Isn't that going to be like the main goal, is to go to Warp 10 and watch Star Trek? Goes to Warp 10 so they devolve into lizards? Don't remind me of Voyager. Please. Project Storytime. Do not remind me of Voyager. Stig Kenobi says, hi there, Loki and company. Hope you are well. Good morning, Stig. Good morning, Mags. Good morning, Mags. How are you doing? Gary Banjo Sandwich, Worthington. Good morning. How are you? Good morning, Captain Shrek. Snoopy on the ground. Good morning. Hope you all are doing well. Happy Vampy Kirk. Can't wait. Just can't wait. Happy Vamp Kirk. Yeah. Sparkly Vampire Kirk is happy. So happy. Watch 1964 to 1969 Star Trek. That's all you got to do. I don't know why they're remaking Jim Kirk when you can just go back and watch TOS. Oh, but Loki, those shows are so old. We're back to episodic Trek. Hey guys, do you remember when they said they would never go back to episodic Trek? Do you remember? We don't do that anymore. You see, we have very compressed seasons now, and we don't have time for all that nonsense. We want to get right to the storytelling and tell you a story from season beginning to season end. Oh, wait. Our show's not doing well? Welcome back, episodic Trek. Oh, they like the Orville more than Star Trek? Welcome back to episodic Trek. Oh, they like how the Orville is happy, how they have fun, how they enjoy themselves. Guys, We're back to being happy Star Trek. We're even going to let them smoke a little weed. Mexican Iron Man. We have more fun on your channel and Loki channel than anything Paramount puts out. He's adding Captain Trek. Pat S. My phone is charging. My tablet may be screwed. I need to switch back to sippy cups. Oh, dude. No, Pat S. Luis Sparrow. Good morning. Good morning, Luis. I had to get a drink there. Okay. So, happy-go-lucky Star Trek against the dreck we've gotten for the last 5 years. Let me ask you something. After all of this crap, after seeing babies' heads get lopped off, after seeing all the crap Star Trek has done, Mikey Spock teaching Spock how to be a Vulcan, are you ready to get back to great Trek after seeing what's happening with Picard? After seeing that, which unfortunately I've got to review today. I'm going to need more whiskey. After seeing this and the dreck that they've come out with and the failures. And you know what's funny here, ladies and gentlemen, is that all of this is great right now. All of this is so wonderful. All of this is being praised. All of this is being touted by the critics and by the quote fans, quote unquote, that this is the bestest it's ever been, right? I can't wait down the road, maybe 10 years from now, when it's all changed and I can't believe we like this. You know what? Maybe it wasn't so great. You know, I've seen reviews and I've seen people talk about how they change, how they feel about The Last Jedi and Star Wars, and how they've changed their minds and how it's complete trash. It's already started, ladies and gentlemen. It's already started. It's not this fake smile on set that you need, Star Trek. It's what Sit Room says right here. In order to have great Trek again, we need great people behind the scenes. We need great people writing the stories. We need great people behind the camera. We need great people in front of the camera. We need great Star Trek. It's dead, Jim. It's dead because Kurtzman and the rest of them want to use it as a political machine. This is now a platform to push our political ideology. That's not me saying that. That's them saying that. That is what they have said. That is what they have given you. A political ideology that is being pushed on Star Trek. The show that taught us all to be open. The IDIC, infinite diversity and infinite combinations. Everyone has their own ideas. Let them see what they want to see from this. Is now, no, we've got to hold your hand and hand you a sippy cup and march you down the aisle and tell you, you're going to like this. You're going to accept this. You're going to consume it. And you're going to like it. Or we're going to point our fingers at you and we're going to cancel you. We're going to shame you. We're going to call you an ist, an ob, and a Yahtzee, and we're going to get rid of you because we don't like you. It's worse than dead. They're trying to animate a corpse. Right there. It's true. No matter what, they only care about one thing, the checks and their benefits. Take Bob Iger, for example, but his campaign failed before it even got started. Consume and shut up. That's where we are at. And you want us to be like, oh, Trek is back. Episodic Trek. Did y'all miss it? I missed it. Well, guess what? It's back. Everything's okay again. He smiled in the trailer. It's all right. It's okay. They have turned nostalgia into necrophilia. Stig, you know what? When I first saw the trailer for Obi-Wan and that music hit, I was like, oh man, listen to that. Listen to that. And then I got Mexican Iron Man to turn that off and watch the trailer. And I turned it off and I watched the trailer. I already didn't like the trailer. Too much Inquisitor, not enough Obi-Wan. Something immediately feels off. And then I turn the music off and there's just nothing there. It's crap. That music is there to pull on your heartstrings and go, remember when it was good? Come back. Come back. Do you know what it is? It's an abusive spouse. Hey, remember how good this was? Come back. Come back. And they never leave. They never leave. They're always there. They're always there. They never leave. No matter what happens, they never leave. And they'll pop out of the woodwork every once in a while to remind you, hey, over here. Because that's them. And they can't live without doing something like that. That's what Disney does. That's what Disney does. Stig Kenobi read the Kenobi novel. It nailed it. Rise of the Dark Lord. Nailed it too. The small scenes that Kenobi's in that. The book after episode 3. When he finds out that Darth Vader, Anakin Skywalker, is still alive in the EU. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. But no, this is what they want. And it continues in everywhere I turn around, and that's what this next article is all about from our boys over in Bounding into Comics. You know, there was a show I watched all the time, and I could sing the intro. I could sit there and sing it, and I guarantee you, if you watch this show, so could you. In West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playground is where I spent most of my days. R-rated reboot, because yeah, they're F-bombing in Star Trek too, of The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. If you're reading this, you've probably watched a number of your favorite television shows and movies get a remake or a reboot over the last few years. Ghostbusters, Star Wars, Star Trek, Doctor Who, Cowboy Bebop, yada, yada, yada. But these are not your average reboots. The term woke reboot is one that I've been using for a few years to describe Hollywood's practice of remaking beloved properties by modernizing them to have a progressive slant. A progressive slant. Many of these remakes have the same name as their predecessors, almost as if Hollywood is actively trying to replace their history, which they are. While NBC Universal decided to spare The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air of its name, the decision to move forward with another woke reboot was made based on the popularity of a YouTube concept that drew the ire of actor Will Smith. That's right, Will Smith is ultimately responsible for this piece of trash. A remake of The Fresh Prince, but this time we are changing the genre from a comedy sitcom to a gritty dark drama. A television show that only worked 30 years ago because everyone loved Will Smith and James Avery got rebooted to look like The Wire. It's like taking Step by Step and turning it into The Sopranos. This is the basic premise behind Peacock's Bel-Air. Seconds into the first episode, you are treated to the blaring rap music of local Philly rappers Freeway and Meek Mill, reminding you this isn't the family-friendly sitcom with positive reinforcement that you are used to. That idea was so Reagan. We live in an era of nihilism, where mercy is mistaken for amusement. Set in modern day, this Philadelphia is one where people say the N-word and pull guns on each other because we need to reflect a realistic take on how this story should be told. There's no Patty's Pub in this Philly. In Bel Air, we take the charismatic character of Will Smith and turn him into an angry, bitter teenager. Will, unlike his sitcom counterpart, is quick to jump into the arms of confrontation at the expense of rationale. He has an encounter with a local gang leader who put a hit out on him after a pickup basketball game went awry. He ends up in jail and is then bailed out by his Uncle Phil and shipped to California, where he can become the new Prince of Bel Air. This is where the difference between the two shows become glaring, to the point where it becomes a breaking point for many fans of the show. The name of these characters are the same, but personalities have taken a complete 180. Let's take the lovable father figure of Uncle Phil and turn him into a corrupt politician who cares more about his campaign than his family. Because you wouldn't expect a black man who lives in Bel Air to keep his nose clean, do you? No. Speaking of dirty noses, Carlton has gone from a nerdy, preppy student who viewed his father as his biggest role model and has turned into a coke-snorting egomaniac whose only resemblance of the original character is he's not down with the culture. Hillary Banks is still a narcissist, so it makes sense that she would have a popular Instagram page. Add in an unfaithful Aunt Vivian and Ashley Banks, who is gay now because NBC Universal wouldn't greenlight this project without LGBT representation, and more rap music than a Hot 97 concert, and you have a woke reboot of The Fresh Prince fit for modern times, and that is exactly the problem. How many times are we going to see this? How many times is this going to happen? Dark, gritty remake. Dark, gritty remake. Bel Air is based off a YouTube video that took scenes of the and re-edited it as a drama. It was a gag. It was a gag. Daryl the Derelict says, if you don't associate it with Fresh Prince, it's not a bad show. However, who remembers that time that Carlton accidentally took speed? Yep. Yes, it did with Jesse. Yes, it did. Larry with Jesse. My last comment doesn't mean I liked it. I didn't. Okay. All right. Wouldn't judge you if you did. If you like it, you like it. Woke reboots are fundamentally lazy attempts to cash in. This is what drew me to this article. On established franchises that do more to destroy legacies than to add to them. Over the last decade, Hollywood writers have figured out that instead of producing original content, that they would have to start from scratch to produce, promote, and build an audience from nothing. Woke reboots allow content creators to start a creative process on easy mode and take advantage of a fan base who have already invested into a name. This. This is what they are doing over and over and over again. Imagine a screenwriter who crafts a story about a rich black family who lives their lives on a different side of the law. Imagine having to pitch how your idea is any better than television shows such as Empire and Power with similar concepts. You probably have a very difficult time doing so. Now imagine you take that same idea and blend it into a world-famous television show that already did the hard work to build the fan base and respect their fandom. This is how shows like Bel Air get made. Same with Star Trek as well. A show that would have died on the vine if left to its own merits, but has the hard work already done for it simply by attaching itself to an already made franchise. You're trying to build something on the backs of other people while pointing your finger and calling those original people Is, Obes, and Yahtzees. Isn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing how they point their finger at Gene Roddenberry like he's a pariah? Yet they build Star Trek on the back of his creation. And they didn't even really build Discovery or Picard because, yeah, it was already done. Sir Persalot, good morning. Good morning, Sir Persalot. Larry, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Canadian Spider-Man, hell yeah. Brightest day, hail. It's akin to playing a video game with cheat codes because it's too hard for you to beat the game on normal. To make matters worse, creators think that dropping callbacks to the original series somehow makes the quality of the reboot good because he said West Philadelphia, born and raised, and I clapped. Yeah, look at what they did there. Look at what they did. Look at what they did. Good thing was from West Philadelphia and not Chicago. We would have only had one episode and a different intro song for sure. This is where we are at. This is where the creativity of the movie industry and the television industry is at. Is this. The creative bankruptcy of these shows is insulting enough, but to add insult to your injury, the uncreative television show that bites off of your fandom decides to get woke in the process. We all know Hollywood is uber progressive, and the overwhelming majority of shows and movies cannot even get approved by major studios without checking the right boxes for diversity and inclusion. This doesn't make TV or movies any easier to watch, and Bel Air is a great example of this. In the pilot episode of the show, Will and Carlton are put at odds because Carlton allows his white friends to sing rap lyrics using the N-word without checking them as a black man. All other character traits of Carlton are removed from the reboot outside of the perception from black progressives that Carlton is a sellout to black people, an issue that ironically the original series addressed in one of the best moments from the show. Carlton is called a sellout. A popular complaint from progressive Hollywood is that audiences don't want new things. They just want the same thing because they're afraid of change. Whatever you say, Wachowski brothers, sisters, this is projection at its finest. It's not that audiences don't want new things. Audiences are fully aware that Hollywood cannot give them new things. Hollywood doesn't have the ability in 2022 to produce new content that doesn't inject their political ideology. Most of these people still have hashtag resist orange man in their Twitter bios 15 months into the Biden administration. What they do is inject that poison into your favorite franchises and then blame you for not accepting it with a smile and a handshake. Or as Loki would say, a smile on your face and a song in your heart. It's like expecting someone to hug you after you already sucker punched them twice. This is where we are at. This is what I've been saying. This is what I've been saying for 2 years. They do this shit and then point their finger at you and blame you because you aren't just gushing all over it like a cheap $2 date. Bel Air is nothing more than the latest example of Hollywood's creative bankruptcy that has led to audiences having more trust in TikTokers explaining the migrant crisis than a Hollywood writing room. The TV show you once loved is nowhere to be found. Like all woke reboots, they are nothing more than glorified fan fiction with the backing of multinational corporations. When an industry is hell-bent on remaking everything you love regardless of your consent, the only answer left is to ask, how does it feel to have lived long enough to see all your favorite franchises go down in flames? One of the best articles from Bounding the Comics I've ever read from Jacob Smith on March 16th, 2020. He nails it. He absolutely. Not just because he touches on something I've been going over for the past 2 years, but because he nails it with a bullseye. He wrote that with a smile on his face and a song in his heart, because it's true. Dag Outlaw, another part of their formula for reboots is relying on an audience that knows the show by name only. The reboot has nothing to live up to when the watcher is ignorant to the greatness of the original, and they're told not to watch the original because it's ists, it's obes, it's Yahtzee, it was written by this, it was done by this, it was produced by this guy. Don't ever watch the original or have anything to do with the original. Only watch the reboot. Project Storytime. Juicy is free. Maybe he can play DJ. Jazzy Jeff. I heard about that yesterday. I heard that they demanded they release him until the appeal. This is what I would do. He got 150 days. He doesn't want to serve his 150 days. He's already in the psych ward because he can't handle being in a box. He's going to be put back in jail. He's going to have to serve his time. They can appeal all they want to. Cook County is a joke. It's not jail. He's not in prison. He's not going to prison. If he comes out wearing a do-rag and he's twice the size he used to be, and he's like, prison changed me, it's because he's got a gaping hole. Not because he had a tough time of it. Suicidal, yeah. No, he's not going to prison. He's not going to prison, and he will never, ever, ever be put in danger. It's not going to happen. They're never going to let him get put in danger. So basically, he will go to solitary. Yeah, that's how prison changed him. He got a gaping hole. He'll go to solitary. He will stay in solitary. He'll get his outside time, but he'll get it all alone because he's special. He's never going to get put in gin pop. He's never going to have to deal with any of that. Okay. Let me explain something to you. And this has already been explained to him. Obviously, there is something you can do called refuse housing. I refuse housing. They immediately throw you in solitary. They take your shit and they throw you in solitary, and you sit in solitary because you have refused housing. Now, this can mean that you get food loaf instead of like a regular meal from the kitchen. There's all kinds of things that can go along with this, but you have refused housing. You have refused to let them place you where they want to place you. So you never get put in general population. He never has to go into general population. And of course, yes, he's appealing. He's appealing the sentence. He doesn't want to go to jail. He's going to fight it. Anybody who didn't think this was going to happen and that he was actually going to serve out his 150 days, it's laughable. And when he goes in, they're going to try and claim because he is going to go to jail. If he doesn't, you're holding people that were protesting in January of last year, but you've been holding them for over a year. But this guy that lied to the police, that fabricated a incident, that is still lying to this day, that still hasn't learned his fucking lesson, that did all this shit and wasted all this money and wasted all this time. This guy isn't going to serve any time. There's going to be a pendulum that swings back eventually because of all of this shit. because of the way the movie industry is going, because of the way these celebrities act, because of this crap. And when it does, I'm going to sit back with my popcorn. I'm going to laugh my ever-loving ass off. And I'm not going to do shit. Because each and every one of you sorry son of a bitches out there that have taken advantage of the system, that have acted like you're better than it, that have done all this shit, when it all blows up in your faces, we will be there to eat popcorn and laugh our asses off at your stupidity. And it will. I have to believe that. Never forget how they've treated you. Never forget what they've done. Never, ever allow them to get away with pointing their fingers at you and talking shit. Ever. Guys, thank you so much for being here. We're going to be back later tonight with Final Fantasy Stranger of Paradise. That is the 35th anniversary game by Team Ninja and Square Enix. Absolutely, positively awesome game last night. Played for about a little over an hour. Had a wonderful time. We're going to be back later today with more gameplay. Thank you so very much, guys, for being here. Thank you so very much for supporting the channel. You guys keep the fires burning bright. And Eric K, right as I'm saying that, Eric K with a $5 super chat. Loki, great show today. Yes, I think they needed to take into account for the hate crimes this asshole created across the country. And how many people copied him? How many people made shit up and lied and copied him? How many? Everybody go and have a great St. Patty's Day. Loki's on the way out. Thank you, Eric K, for that $5 super chat. You guys keep the fires burning bright here in Valhalla. And this one's just for you, sir. Skål!
Spartans! What is your profession?
Top of the morning there, too. Have a great Thursday and a happy St. Patty's Day. Be excellent to each other. Always speak friend to enter. And we will catch you guys on the next Mornings of Mischief. Take care, everybody.
These videos are tremendous. Like, comment, and subscribe, and hammer that notification bell.